Hello, Newport, and welcome to From the Desk of the Mayor. Thank you, NEK-TV, for always allowing me to use this as a venue to speak to our constituents. Residents of Newport, I try as much as I possibly can to reach out and make myself available to you so that you can talk with me, you can tell me about your issues, and we have an opportunity to clarify any rumors or myths that are being spread out in Newport. More important, to come and talk to those who are in the governance of the city. I also want to remind you that Monday mornings from 9 to 11 at the council room are my mayor's hours. I'm so thrilled about all the people who have been showing up and all of the issues that we have been addressing and all of the wonderful ideas that you have. Wednesdays as well by appointment from 9 to 11. We've been rolling up our sleeves and working hard. The department heads have been working with me as your mayor, and we are cleaning up the city. And let's talk about cleanup time, because sometimes when you clean up and you go through transitions, you find things that are highly disturbing, and they just need to stop and be fixed. And that's exactly what I have found. The key here is let's clean up and let's stop spreading the dirt. When I was elected as a special election, it was when former Mayor Beth Barnes resigned. And so the city decided to have a special election, and that's when I came out and ran. And I am honored that the majority of the citizens of Newport decided to look at my credentials and my experience and my legislative experience and my backgrounds as a turnaround specialist and voted for me. And I thank you again for that confidence. However, former Mayor Beth Barnes actually resigned because she claimed bullying. She claimed harassment. And she actually claimed that it was interfering with her elected position. Her choice to resign was hers. She decided to resign as opposed to go forward and continue with the bullying that she claimed existed. As your mayor, I noticed immediately upon my taking office the same attempts to follow suit with an undercurrent to date that still exists by a select group of former and current employees and select past and current council members. They are continuing these behaviors, and they are violations of the charter. It was obvious that this pattern of behavior was well in play before former Beth Barnes, though I don't know how far it escalated, but it did escalate when she came on, and it is escalating to date. Except under my realm as the mayor, it is more of an undercurrent where they believe we don't know. Well, guess what? We do know. The bottom line is that some of these employees' contracts were actually terminated because there were council members who made a decision that this type of horrific action and behaviors needed to stop. There were employees who had to actually have their actions looked at, and they had to be told that this was unacceptable behavior. The key here is how far will it be allowed to go? And especially when a campaign season is coming up, when I'm sitting in as your mayor, and every day this group with their outsiders comes in and wants to campaign while you're trying to get business of the city done. So be it. Let them. If it gets out of hand, you have to make decisions on how to deal with employees or aldermen who run amok. And that's been going on, and that's been happening. The key here is that these behaviors are continuing to be investigated, and there will be decisions on whether or not action needs to be taken. Former Mayor Barnes actually reported that she had received emails and that the actions rose to such a level that she could not continue with her elected position. I did a review of these claims of existence of emails and the behavior patterns that she described. In fact, Mayor Barnes was actually telling the truth. The apparent behavior is unacceptable. People should not be bullied. People should not be robbed of the elected position when the majority of the citizens make a decision to have that person there, because a group of irresponsible or tightly wound employees or former council members or leaders think it's sport and fun sport to just make noise and interfere. It should be the goal of everybody to make the city better. It should not be the goal of anyone to harm the city, even for their own self-serving agendas or purpose. When there is an elected official, let that official come in and do their job. If you don't like the way they do their job, you have a voice at the ballot box. But do not interfere on a daily basis and try to manipulate those who were elected. I will tell you that is something that I will not tolerate, have not tolerated, and have dealt with our current council members, the majority of our current council members, who believe in honesty, ethics, and leading this city properly. In any event, while those select few may think it is sport, okay, it is important that it stops. And Mayor Barnes may decide to bring a lawsuit against the individuals. If she so decides to bring a lawsuit against the individuals, and she knows who they are, most probably I might be called to be a witness, and I will do so. It is important that you also understand that former and current council members, some of them have actually violated their roles as aldermen, and they've gone against the city by sharing confidential information with other parties in negotiations or in litigation or for political agendas that would actually harm the city's positions and give advantage to those who are against the city. That is the biggest no-no of all. The city is who we protect. You, the taxpayers, you, the... Because somebody... You do not align and go against the city when you have been sworn in to work for the city. So this has been clear that it is still this same group that is doing this. The other issue that we're cleaning up is the issue of the unauthorized actions. Unauthorized contracts were identified, and they are being dealt with. Actions are taken to mitigate these ramifications from those unauthorized actions and contracts, mostly by the same members of this select group that I have just described. It is important that you should understand as well. You know, we've been bombarded with PRA requests that are highly costly to the city. That is totally legal. However, it is important to understand that when these PRA requests actually identify these unauthorized contracts and identify that the alignment are with the people that you are aligned with, miraculously, there are no letters to the editor about those unauthorized contracts and behaviors. They just disappear. Well, they don't disappear within the city, and we, the city, the mayor, the council, and the appropriate department heads are correcting this with our city attorneys, and those actions will be stopped. We are making the city compliant with the charter. The charter is a strong charter, and we have a mayor council, a strong one, in place because of it, and those rules work. The key here is to keep this city moving forward. That is the key. We've also had public records requests for videos in the hallways from the same people. Please, okay, the city has no control over what happens to those videos once they get in the hands of these people, whether they are altered, sold, shared. The purpose of the video is for the police just to scout the area to make sure that there's safety and to identify who's in the building and that there is no trouble. Once again, the city cannot have any control over the personalities. We don't know about their behaviors, their mental behaviors, their sexual behaviors. We have no idea what they're going to do with these videos. Once they're in their hands, the city is out of it. But the city must provide those public record requests regardless of what their agenda is. So please understand, the city keeps those videos solely for the purpose of protecting those who are inside the building or walk inside the building and you. The police are doing their job. The police have safety first, and so does the mayor, and so do our council members. The other key here that we're cleaning up is the city's financial system. We have taken steps to clean up the mismanaged grants that resulted in already over $300,000 of unaddressed grant money now being approved and getting back to the city. There was a cash flow problem. Everybody was wondering why. Well, when a city manager, whoever is in control, does not submit the appropriate receipts, does not monitor, does not do their job, it is important that we fix this. And we did. We put in place an internal grant manager. So not only has the first $300,000 come in, but more funds are actually in the queue. So several $100,000 more are going to be asked for. In addition, our internal grant manager, who is also our zoning administrator, who's doing a phenomenal job in this short period of time and will continue to do a phenomenal job because we have an ethical, diligent, professional worker now handling this, has made sure that all of our contracts are being complied with, that our percentages of completion are being looked at, that our budgets are being actually managed appropriately. This is a lot of work, but it's supposed to be a lot of work because people get paid money to do this. So our former people who were overseeing this were getting large salaries. The problem is it wasn't being done. And this has been going on for years. Now it's being done. And it only took a qualified person to come in who not only was qualified, but actually had a work ethic of actually working and doing their job. This is what we need in our city. We have a phenomenal police chief. We have our interim fire chief who's doing a phenomenal job. And yesterday at our council meeting, we actually did some interviews for the administrative position. And we are going to be negotiating, hopefully, for a job offer to one of those candidates. And this is exciting times. We are restructuring what is actually needed in this city. We have a master plan that has been approved by the council. Now, what that means is that it should be looked at as opportunities to move Newport forward. What type of financial structures are needed? What are the assets of the city? How best do we accommodate our wonderful citizens and make Newport that go-to city? Bring us the people, get us better housing, bring in better businesses. We are here to find the best way to fix the city. It has been stagnant and it has not been healthy for many years. As somebody who comes in and actually is a turnaround specialist and fixes things, this was my priority, and I intend to continue to do this through the rest of my term. And I want you to please remember, it is important to continue what has been done. It is very important not to just stop and fall back to this undercurrents of what was in the past. So regardless of how these things play out, it is really important to stay compliant, to listen to the advice of the city attorneys. You don't need to follow it, but you should listen to it because it should be well received, and then you should digest it and move forward appropriately. We are dealing with a lot of nonsensical nuisance behaviors that are costing the city money from frivolous lawsuits that are like just, we just have to deal with it, and we are. However, it will not distract from what our city needs. The most important issue here is that you, the people, continue to come to the mayor's hours, continue to reach out to me to find out what is really going on. Listen to the council meetings. You will see, okay, the rhetoric at comments. You'll also hear good comments, okay? The bottom line is the council is working. We had a meeting last evening where so many contracts were put in place that were just sitting out there. We're dealing with the single audit that was just sitting out there. We're dealing with our current audit. We're fixing the budget process. And this has involved your good council members. They are participating. They are working for you. So all I can say to you is I want to thank our council president. I want to thank our council members Curtis and our council member Ufford Chase for their sincere efforts. They are going out of their way to continue to fix Newport's past dilemmas. It's a lot, but we're almost there. We are almost in a place where so many good policies are in place. Our department heads now understand processes, and we want nothing but the best for Newport. We are a community. We should be united, and we should move forward. So I think we should move forward together. Today I have a very busy day. I will be going from here up to the Vermont State Aviation Advisory Council meeting, which the governor appointed me to. I look forward to going to the governor's inauguration speech on Thursday and also to his inauguration event on Saturday. I look forward to going to workforce development meetings that I have. The governor also put me on his state workforce development board. I am also a member of the Women's Commission. I am a commissioner for the state of Vermont, and I have a meeting on that as well today. All of these statewide appointments, as well as being on the Vermont Housing Authority, is something that helps us. It not only helps the state, but it helps Newport. We have a voice at the table. We are just as important because we are the hub of Orleans. We are the Northeast Kingdom city. We are that destination. So I ask you, reach out to me. Let's talk. I'm listening, and I really, really trust your insight, your opinions, and we want to make it happen for you. So Newport, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Thank you.